At about 1973, wife and I had moved to the Enfield area. Turns out it was next door to John Garden's family's house. He started lifting when he was 8 years old. And back then, I was sort of building up my talents of analysis of, who would be good and who wouldn't. And the first time he grabbed a bar, I could tell that boy had what it takes.
I was lucky to train with John for many years, and from the time we were very young until into the mid-20s when I left the sport. And he was what you would call a disciplined character. He enjoyed having fun. He loved to be with the guys and train with the fellas, but he knew what he had to do and when he had to do it.
First off, he did have athletic talent, excellent coordination. He also had I'd call it a superior level of intelligence and analysis. When something would be explained to him technically in the sport, he would understand it immediately. And he had dedication beyond the normal as well. All through his school years, he trained hard and worked diligently at the sport and knew what he was doing, which was, a great combination of qualities.
John had every bit or better as good a technique as what a world-class lifter would have. Like, he was just phenomenal to watch. Like, when he lifted, it was just like bang on every time. Like, he had the best technique of anybody I've seen, not just in Nova Scotia or in our national level, but in even world-class level. His technique was spot on.
People attribute weightlifting with all muscle and brawn, but there's a lot of technique, speed, athleticism, flexibility, and he had it all. And he could do the same lift every time after time, whether he's moving up the next lift up, and he could repeat it, same move, look, bang, bang on.
There was one competition that it's vague in my memory, of course, but he was just young, up-and-coming weightlifter, and he snatched 90 kilos in 60 kilo class. And we were all like, wow, that's a pretty cool lift. And after that, he just became better and better and better, kind of thing. So
we used to go on road trips down to the eastern United States, and he was a highly respected lifter down there, having won his class in a number of local regional competitions there. It just seems like everywhere he went, he would put on a seriously competitive performance.
He virtually set every record in every weight class he's ever competed in. And we're talking about Nova Scotia senior and junior records. And so it was just a matter of gaining a little bit of weight, moving up into the next weight class, and then competing, and boom, the records were gone. And that's very difficult to do because you're not just competing with the people of that day, you're competing against the best people who ever lifted the weights in the sport. So if you look back at the record books, and some of these are archived because the weight classes have changed, but John Garden's name is in every weight class he's ever competed in.
You could be provincial champion for 20 years in a row and never make it to the nationals if your caliber wasn't high enough. He always managed to make standards, and eventually in his second last year of competition, he won the silver medal. One missed lift away from the gold, so he had quite a career at the national level, and he was well known around the national scene because he was regarded as one of the top lifters in the two classes that he competed at there.
The major goal in Olympic weightlifting was to try to qualify for a national championship. If you could do that, that was considered the holy grail. Because to get to a Canadian weightlifting championship, the qualifying totals, they're about 90% of the totals that you need to get to an Olympic Games. So if you can achieve that level, you're considered to be pretty good. And for John, he achieved it 8 years in a row and 10 years in total. I don't think there's anyone in the history of sport, weightlifting or otherwise, that's been able to perform at that high level. If you look at any sport, to be able to qualify for a national championship, and not just to get there, but to actually compete at a high level?
In the lightweight class, he lifted double body weight in the clean and jerk in 2 or 3 occasions. And when he moved up to the middleweight class, he also performed double body weight and more on about 3 or 4 occasions. It was a standard only equaled by 3 other lifters in all of Nova Scotia. So that's a standard tough to beat even these days.
In weightlifting, to lift double body weight, you're at an elite level. You got to have the combination of strength, technique, and speed, timing, and John had it all. I mean, he could do it, and to put that all together and to reach that level is, very impressive. And it's a goal. Everybody wants to go into weightlifting. To reach double body weight would be amazing, but very few people can do it.
John is one of only 2 Nova Scotia lifters who has ever lifted double body weight in competition. The other athlete, Vijay Sharma, lifted double body weight in the 52 kilogram class and the 56 kilogram class. 11 pounds over double body weight. A new clean jerk record, 155 kilos. That was a super lift.
John's position in the sport of Olympic weightlifting in Nova Scotia is a very interesting spot. There have been 1 or 2 lifters who have won Canadian championships in this province, but there's been nobody that's competed at that high a level for that length of time. If you had to compare John's status, you'd look at him, and if you were comparing it to, say, hockey, you'd look at a Gordie Howe. You'd see an athlete who's competed at the highest level for the longest amount of time. His position in the sport, in terms of Nova Scotia, I would say he's at the very, very top tier. There's really nobody that's been able to do what he's done for as long as he's done it.
John's a fun guy to be around. When he's lifting away from the platform, we're having fun. He's cracking jokes, and great guy to be around, fun guy to be around.
When he was a younger lad, he had his other sides of him as well that are sometimes a bit more interesting. I vaguely remember one evening down in Halifax, and we noticed a car that just wasn't perfectly parked in the way that it should be outside of an establishment. So we decided, well, I don't think this car should be this way. So John simply just walked over to it, picked up the back of the car, and put it back where it should be. Now, not everybody's that polite, and it was very nice of him to do so, to help that young man put his car where it should be. And so he had a sense of what's right and wrong in the world.
John is the new Ian Meadows. He is going to take this sport to a high level and hopefully keep it going. John's got that drive in him that I love to see. And I can see weightlifting in Nova Scotia going bigger and better with more competitors than when we were younger. It's good to see John's pushing for more lifting in not just men but female athletes. I've noticed that, and it's just John seems to be taking it to a little bit high level.
It's not hard to be proud of a lad who does as well as he did in his competition career. And I'm still sort of proud of him because he's active now in Nova Scotia Weightlifting Association administration duties. In fact, he's competition coordinator for the province. And, he's given back what he got out. And that's a source of pride for me, and I have no doubt him as well.
John, I know how difficult it is for you to accept praise from others and to be put on a pedestal, but you definitely deserve this. Congratulations on your entry to the East Hand Sports Hall of Fame.
2020 East Hand Sport Hall of Fame inductee, John Garden.